Disclaimer.
Hello everyone! With the recent reveal of Cobalt Dragoon, the first left-rotating bay in Beyblade X, we're going to be taking a look at all of the new information that has come out not only on this bay, but as well the others. So, starting us off, let's talk about Black Dronzer. No, not that one. Black Dronzer Spiral. So, this is pretty much like this little thing that's going to be at like the Beyblade bar, which the Beyblade bar is like this nice little like place in Japan where like, you know, you can there's like free play or whatever. It's like Beyblade themed, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's like non-alcoholic drinks, but it will eventually be put on Rare Bay Get Battle. Nothing else really is special about it, sticker-wise. It's kind of this weird promo, but also putting this as a Rare Bay Get, a little bit odd. And it does release August 10th, by the way. So now let's talk about the random booster, where the entire lineup is absolutely stacked overall. Like, a lot of very, very good parts choices in it. So we'll first kind of go over the main bay, which is Black Shell, which I do want to mention. I do love that Pendragon is pretty much all just a bucket and shoot reference, with Dragoon, Drigger, and Drasil. I also love it that in the actual design of it, you can see like the little bucket and shoot emblem inside each of their little gear chip designs. I think that's a pretty cool thing that they kind of incorporate. Now, in terms of Black Shell, I do think visually speaking, we're not talking about competitive, whatever, I think it looks really fucking cool. I really love the design of it. Now, obviously, this is very Drasil-esque in its design, literally, which is interesting to say the least. Now, what's kind of cool, maybe, is obviously this is a defense type, but unlike other Drasils, they kind of made this a little bit more kind of filled out, because with a lot of the Drasils you'll see, a lot of them, even though they were defense, very recoily in design, this one's like a little bit more rounded off. It still has like 8 main contact points that are kind of protruding outwards, and it's kind of sloped downwards, which you can kind of see in the side profile that they show basically for it. In terms of my thoughts on the blade for defense, really what it comes down to for defense is gonna mainly be weight. I feel the issue I have with majority of defense types in Beyblade X is the fact that they are not heavy. Shinobi Shadow, let me remind you, was like, what, 28 grams? And the other ones were either okay weight, but they need to be a bit more. And you already see this for an example of blades like Wizard Rod, where if you have something that is heavy, it will do the job and be able to at least hold its ground for defense. So the main thing is going to come down to weight. Otherwise, you're going to try to maybe hope maybe this could be used for attack. I don't know what else you could say. Maybe if it's round, I don't know, maybe stamina. I do think it's a little bit of an L, huh? They did 460. Why? But we do have the bit that is new, which is dots. Now, if you recall from the Beyblade Burst era with the Needle Driver, or its Metal Fight with Scorpio with Jog Ball, this is basically that version in X. Now, the side profile of it looks basically kind of close to Needle in shape. Now, basically how they describe this is this idea that, oh, it's never gonna move the position at all if you hit it. It's gonna maintain its stance and just hold in the center. You know, it's just kind of like the bullshit advertisement. I think especially after suffering through Metal Needle and after seeing things like Hexa, I really do wish the defense bits had a little bit of resistance. Dot was maybe more of a ball shape. You could maybe technically wear it down or something, and maybe then you could have something crazy, but I don't even think for that. So, I don't know, I just think it'll be just maybe fun for casual and nothing else. If I'm wrong, I'll take it. And you then after get the yellow recolor, which it feels like with so many of these rares, they always do like the secondary, it's a yellow recolor. It looks okay, so this is like Black Shell 980 Ball, which technically, you know, it should be called Yellow Shell. In terms of the part choice, I think it's fine. 980, cool, whatever, ball, cool. It looks okay IRL, doesn't bad, just kind of whatever. You then after have Unicorn Sting 370 Dot. So this is an okay red recolor, kind of reddish orange, whatever. It's fine. It's awesome to see Unicorn Sting get a recolor, and you get the prize bit of Dot. So that is pretty cool, actually. For the Unicorn fans, there's at least +1, so that's kind of cool. You get to the big one, the Holy Grail, which this one IRL, first of all, oh my god, I'm blinded by it. Wizard Rod 160 Rush. Arguably the best pull in this, because you get Rush, which we finally got a reprint after so long. 160 is awesome. It's a very solid ratchet for those big explosive hits. And I think overall it looks cool. It's a nice green recolor, so I actually love this one quite a bit. Speaking of which, we do get a blue Phoenix Wing, which this comes with 580 hexa. So super cool. We get a reprint of Phoenix Wing after a while. You know, it's been quite a bit some time since December, so to see it finally here is really, really cool. And IRL looks pretty neat for the colors. Last one is the Viper Tail, which I will say IRL does look really, really pretty to look at. In terms of, for the rest of it visually, it's fine, I would say. And I mean, the parts on it, a 570 is pretty cool, and you get the prize bit of dot. I think maybe the weakest part of this is maybe the Viper Tail blade. I feel, it's whatever. It looked nice, but you know what I mean? Aside from that, like, very, 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 very good lineup, actually. Now we get on to the main event, which is Cobalt Dragoon. The blade is basically that it has 4 upper parts to it, and it just creates that upper attack. You have 260, which looks like kind of like 2 giant hammers on it, which seems interesting. I'm curious to this if it's maybe going to be similar to 160 for its benefits and attack. But what they basically say is that for the left rotation in specific, it's supposed to really hit the opponents hard, and in right rotation, it's supposed to hit bays with defense, I guess. We do get what's really interesting, which is our bit, which is Cyclone. So this is akin to your left flat from Metal Fight or your Spiral from Burst. Basically, it's very aggressive in its shape. So it's supposed to stab into the stadium in left rotation and just have like crazy fast attack, I guess. So my thoughts on the bit, I do definitely think this will be maybe more crazy than flat for use. It'll probably be very, very aggressive. I wonder how good the stamina of it will be. I think maybe the stamina could be a weakness, but it depends how wide the star part of it basically is. Let's try to wait to see a little bit more and eventually obviously test this in hand. Now, we do have some pretty interesting stuff to also go over. The left launcher, what's really cool about it is that I finally get to practice more of string launcher use, which if you want my opinion, I do love using string launchers. I feel you waste less pain trying to constantly go through winders, just to not waste so much effort and to get more or less a similar power to that of a winder, so I'm pretty content with that. But now we kind of get to the main footage that we kind of saw. So one of the most important things about this bay that they constantly advertise is the idea that it is going to constantly meet the bay as it follows through the extreme dash path. They did basically kind of have this battle footage where they go over it. So one of the big things you will notice is kind of how it interrupts bays in their flow. Now, one thing I think is going to be very key to this is going to be the weight, and technically that is the key in every single release, but I'll explain why in this context specifically. If the weight of this is like 35 grams or 34, I'm not really worried about this thing doing that much to the meta, to be quite honest with you. If the weight of this thing, we're talking 37, 38, then it's starting to raise some eyebrows. Because what I think is going to happen when you have this in actual battles against attack stuff, I think it's going to come down to who launches harder, and I think it's also going to come down to the weight of the blade, because I think that's going to definitely be who stops who, you know, both of the forces colliding with each other. And while these were stock combinations for attack, to basically see it consistently outspin hard, the equalization on that is kind of nuts, which if you want me to use the casual term, the spin stealing is kind of nuts on it. I don't think this thing is going to be invincible or anything like that. I just think it's going to really shake up the meta quite a bit. Having a left bay is obviously going to do that. I think overall, the big things going into this is going to basically just be the weight. The weight's going to be, I think, the big determining factor for this, because the shape is kind of okay, and I don't think it should be equalizing too crazy. My bold prediction is actually, I think it'll definitely change X, but I don't think it's gonna do too much. But if the blade's heavy and the weight distribution is good, okay, maybe get a little crazy. And yeah, the last part to kind of go over, which I thought would be just fun, is the 3-player stadium. Now, I did kind of report on this a while back. Shout out to Kyo, by the way, for the translation work of the stadium in the rules. But the 3-player stadium, a lot questioned like, yo, but why though? This stadium, as far as I can tell for the context for why it actually exists, is because in Asia events specifically, they have like so many players. Like I know like there's way more than 50. Like let's say like a typical event in Asia for like a good amount of people that come, let's say it's 100 plus or something like that. Let's just say To have the 3-player stadium is just to kind of clear through the first stage a lot easier and to just get through a lot of people, which that's what I'm assuming the real purpose of it is. But, you know, aside from that, I think it'd be interesting just to kind of see gameplay-wise, because it is obviously wider. So I am wondering, on a 1v1, what's the gameplay like? And also between 3 bays, what is the gameplay like as well? Actually, I can't even, you wanna what? Let's leave it in the comments. What do you think about Cobalt Dragoon? What do you think based on the footage and what you've seen so far? Do you think it's gonna screw with the meta? It's gonna be such a big ship, it's gonna be maybe high tier? Do you think it's just gonna be okay or average? Let's leave it in the comment section, which if you are new here, you can subscribe to the channel and comment your thoughts on the Black Sail or the Dragoon. Or the Dragoon, everybody. And yeah, for the last plug, mollabays.com. We have, actually, I think all of our pre-orders are pretty much gone for Cobalt Dragoon and the random booster, so huge thank you to everyone for all the support on all those orders. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Eventually, for the random booster, if I have any leftovers, like if I have incomplete sets, basically, I'm gonna eventually round up anything that's incomplete for random booster stuff, and you will probably see around the July time just separate listings for maybe that type of stuff. Maybe. It just depends on how many sets and the rates and all that stuff, because I don't know until I get it. Yeah, with that being said, I think that's kind of it for this video. Overall, everything's really, really exciting for Beyblade X right now. Left rotating Beyblade. I really love the black shell bay. You get the Drasil reference. Anything else? The 3-player stadium. It's good. It's gonna be a good summer. It's gonna be a good summer. So, as we end off, I want to say thank you all for watching. That's gonna be it for now, and take care. I'll eventually have my manga review sometime. But thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Take care, and bye.